Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. I'm Luke and here on this channel I talk about fragrances, mainly designer, vintage and affordable fragrances, but I'm always down for discussing other topics. So if you have any video suggestions, make sure to leave a comment down below. I want to dedicate this video to fragrances from my fragrance repertoire that are distinctly woody, meaning they're classified as woody, either woody oriental or woody floral, but I'll also touch on some perfume history as we go along. So let's make a start. So the first fragrance that I really want to talk about, mainly because I don't really talk about it anymore because I used it up, is Samsara from the house of Guerlain. This came out in the late 80s and it's classified as a woody oriental, but I would classify it as a woody floral. It's a jasmine, ylang ylang, sandalwood fragrance. It's absolutely beautiful, classic, timeless, very creamy, very smooth. It can be a bit bitter and all over the place in the opening, but the dry down is absolutely stunning. This was a blind buy when I first got it and it was love at first sniff. I still love the scent. I wish I could just pick up another B bottle for 30 euros like this one. This one was so inexpensive and now they go for hundreds on eBay. The new version is still available. It comes in the flacon bouchon coeur, which is the inverted heart bottle. And unfortunately, it only comes as a 75 ml. But let's talk about this fragrance. What makes it so special? It's the sandalwood. The sandalwood in Samsara is so rich, dusty, and creamy. And combined with the vanilla in the base, this is just perfection in a bottle. The next fragrance that I want to talk about is Chanel Allure Sensuelle, the eau de parfum. And this fragrance is, oh my goodness, this is such a beautiful Chanel fragrance. It has that typical Chanel DNA. And to my nose, it smells almost nothing like the original Allure. This one is a woody, peppery patchouli scent with a hint of rose, a hint of spiciness, and it's soft and floral, but also woody and very heavy on the patchouli at the same time, but also very elegant. And to my nose, this is a night out fragrance. I'll wear it during the day. You best believe I will. But it's a nighttime scent. It makes me think of going out to a fancy restaurant. Some people will tell you that it's a cross between Coco Mademoiselle and Allure. And I have to disagree. To me, this is, yes, it's the same scent profile. It has the Chanel patchouli, it has the rose, it has the pepperiness, the same kind of pepperiness that I get from Chanel Chance. But this one is just the richest and deepest of them all. If we don't count the original Coco, which is the classic Oriental. But this one is kind of a more modern, approachable, spicy patchouli. And I'm not saying they're similar, but it also makes me think of Midnight Poison from Dior, which is another rose patchouli kind of night out fragrance. And I know I keep talking about the patchouli, which also has a woody quality, but the woody notes in this fragrance are sandalwood and vetiver. And combined with the patchouli and the spices, this pulls very woody on my skin. The rose is definitely there, but it's not as strong as in Coco Mademoiselle, for example. So that's Chanel Allure Sensuelle, the eau de parfum. I will be doing a full review of this fragrance because I absolutely adore it. I'm so glad I picked up a bottle. I did try it a long time ago. I dismissed it. I don't know why. I wish I hadn't. But it came back into my life. So there you have it. Chanel Allure Sensuelle. Moving on, we've got another classic. I don't really talk about this one on my channel as often as I used to, but it's an absolute classic. If you like a woody fragrance, this one is a must try. It's Dune or Dune from the house of Dior. And this is a woody, ambery, aldehydic fragrance. Yes, it has some aldehydes in the opening, it has some freshness, but as it dries down, it becomes this stunning rosewood, vanilla, mixed with amber and the balsamic notes. It's both rich and warm, but also light and wearable. It's supposed to evoke the calm of desert dunes, empty beaches full of driftwood, but also something so otherworldly and impossible to describe. This fragrance truly defies description. It's very hard to put into words what this fragrance evokes in me. I just know that it takes me on a journey, it comforts me, and it makes me feel very good, but in a nostalgic, almost daydreamy kind of way. I absolutely love it. I don't wear it a lot because I reserve it for special occasions. You know, what can you say about Dune that hasn't been said already? So that's Dune by Dior. I have a full video on it, by the way. I'll link it on the screen as well as in the description box. Moving on, we've got another classic from the 90s from Dior. It's Dolce Vita. This is a vintage bottle of Dolce Vita. I, unfortunately, am not a fan of the new formula. It's so light and airy and it just doesn't last on me. When I got my bottle, I actually returned it because I thought I got a fake. So I went on eBay and bought my second vintage bottle. Dolce Vita is a fruity, woody delight. It's beautiful, it's sweet, it's comforting, very woody. I get the cinnamon, the peach, the florals, but also the sandalwood and the rosewood, and it's such a comforting fragrance. To me, this is Christmas in a bottle, and I'll definitely mention it in my Christmas video, which will go up mid-December probably. But at the same time, it also makes me think of summer. So it's such a versatile fragrance. It's not too strong. It's an eau de toilette. You can wear it all year round. And I think it's still very relevant in 2024. It's still something that I find very unique. Even though it wasn't a bestseller when it was released, it was groundbreaking because it started the woody trend for women. Dolce Vita, along with Samsara and Féminité du Bois from Shiseido, were the first woody dominant fragrances for women. And rumor even has it that the formula for Dolce Vita and the one for Féminité du Bois were created by the same perfumer, and they kind of switched them at one point. And Féminité du Bois became what Dolce Vita was supposed to be, or vice versa. You know, you can read that online, you can look it up, if you happen to enjoy reading perfume blogs like me. So that's Dolce Vita from Dior. I also have a full video on this fragrance. But let's move on to the next one, which is Joop Dune from Estée Lauder, another classic. This one's from the 50s, and this one is classified as a spicy oriental, but it's also very woody. It's one of the most magical, resinous, spicy, woody oriental scents. It's very creamy, comforting, classic smelling. I love wearing it in cold weather, but it's also very beautiful in the summer. Just one spray. I also use this as a bedtime scent, I kid you not. The nose behind it was Joséphine Catapanon, and it came out in 1953, as I said, as a bath oil, not as a fragrance. I have a full video about this fragrance and the history of this fragrance, so make sure to check it out if you're interested. But what I will say about this fragrance is that it's extremely strong. So if you plan to wear it to bed, do one spray max, no more than one spray. The performance is incredible, it smells beautiful, and the price is also unbeatable. I got this for under €30, $30. It's a stunning fragrance, what can I tell you? And I absolutely love the bottle. I think it's so pretty. Moving on, I've got another Estée Lauder fragrance. This one is called Knowing. It's from 1988 and it's a Chypre. This is one of my favorite Chypres in my collection. It's a Chypre. It's rosy, woody, mossy, but it also smells very, very expensive. It's very rich and complex. I know I often talk about it on my channel. That's because I want to motivate myself to use it more. But it's very intense, very strong, and it's just really hard for me to find an appropriate occasion to wear it. So I usually just end up spraying maybe 2 or maybe 3 sprays, and I end up wearing it as my scent of the night. It has a staggering 26 notes, but the woody notes really stand out in this one, and it's also classified as a chypre floral woody. It has a very natural, outdoorsy, even foresty vibe. You get the green notes, the aromatics, the woods, the mosses, but it also has this sweet, honeyed undertone, which makes it really beautiful, especially when it dries down. Knowing is for someone who's really confident, for someone who isn't afraid to wear a fragrance that might end up wearing them. That's what happened to me the first time I wore it. I oversprayed it and it ended up wearing me. So be careful with this one. Go easy on the trigger. That's just my advice. Needless to say, the performance is incredible. And I can also attest to its quality. I think it's a very good quality fragrance. Even though it has been reformulated, this juice is very powerful, very, very strong. If only most new releases were this strong. And that speaks for itself. So that's Knowing by Estée Lauder. Moving on, we've got another Estée Lauder. This one's a bit newer, from 2005. It's called Sensuous, and it's a floral woody. It's a very nice, sweet woody scent. It's for someone who maybe likes woody fragrances but doesn't like vintage fragrances. This is probably the most modern smelling fragrance in this video. It doesn't smell vintage. It's modern but also classic at the same time. It's a powdery woody scent. It has some honey. It's quite sweet but not too sweet. It also has some greenness in the opening, but that goes away and you're left with powdery woody notes with honey and some white florals. It's very nice, inoffensive. I have to say the performance is moderate. It's a moderate performer. It's not the strongest fragrance in the world. I wish it was a bit stronger, but I'm really happy with it because it used to be discontinued and then they brought it back. So get a bottle while you still can. You can pick this up on the grey market for around, I want to say, 30 to 40 euros, dollars. You don't have to pay 70, 80 retail. You can get it on the grey market. Personally, I don't really have a problem with that. I buy from discounters a lot, but I also pay retail when I have to, but I prefer not to. I'm going off on a tangent here, so let's just move on to the next fragrance, shall we? Last but not least, let's talk about Joop pour Femme. This is the original Joop from 1987, if I'm not mistaken, and this vial was kindly sent to me by my friend Anna. So Anna, thank you so much for sending this over. I actually really like it. I was afraid I wasn't going to like it, but I like it a lot. It's an oriental woody, but it has a freshness to it. It has some aldehydes in the opening. You get some florals, some jasmine, orange blossom, but it's predominantly, I would say, a woody scent, a woody animalic scent. I have another subscriber who finds this very pissy. I don't really get that, but I have to say it does have an animalic vibe. It's this woody, musky, animalic, 80s style fragrance, very of its time. The nose behind it was Michel Almirac, who also created Gucci Rush, if I'm not mistaken. So this fragrance has an 80s vibe. It has this soapy opening and then it becomes a powdery, woody scent with a lot of civet. And keep in mind that some people may find it a bit too pissy or animalic. I'm not really supposed to say pissy. I don't want to get demonetized. But yes, the civet is definitely there and it's very much alive. It's scratching and kicking, okay? So the civet is poking through from the opening to the dry down. So keep that in mind. If you don't like animalic scents, you may want to avoid this one. Okay, so that's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave me a comment down below and give this video a like before you leave. Once again, thank you for watching. Have a lovely day. Bye.